Welcome to Pro Tool Reviews. What I have today is Ryobi's brand new PBL 324 18 gauge narrow crown stapler. This is brand new on the market and we got our hands on it first. The best way to figure out how a new tool behaves and what it does is just to try it out. So that's what I was doing today. I started out with just driving a whole bunch of staples to see how it feels, how deep it drives, the depth of drive adjustment, the power, and things like that. What I have is some materials here. And what I'm going to do is a lot of times, when you're using a narrow crown stapler, you're attaching things like underlayment and thinner materials to a thicker material. So I have two different types of materials. I have a plasticky material here. It's kind of soft, so I can see how this depth of drive adjustment really works and how good it works on that. And then I have some a little bit thicker. This is not quite 1/4 inch, but it's some pegboard material that I'm just going to staple to this 2x4, just as if we were stapling down underlayment or something like that. Now, as far as what I have for staples, I only have some 5/8 of an inch staples on hand. So plenty long enough for the materials that we're going to be stapling here. So let's give it a try. And let's line up. Drew some lines on here. We'll line this up like that. And I'm just going to do a couple staples along that edge and just get a feel for how they actually drive through this underlayment. So it's definitely driving them flush, if not just a little bit below the surface. What's nice is I can actually have a really easy depth of adjustment on this, is that it's just a thumb wheel on the side here. And as I turn this, I can see the tip move in and out according to what I think I'm going to need. So I went ahead and pulled it back just a little bit to see if I get a little bit better drive. There we go. And so that's kind of more what I'm looking at, is that I want to make sure that staple is landing flush with that surface. Because if this is underlayment, we don't want our staples sticking up above that underlayment when we're trying to make it a nice flat surface. Now the other thing this does is sequential mode. So I was using single fire mode, where every time we push that tip down and pull the trigger, it'll fire one staple. We can switch it, and there's a switch up inside of here where I can go from sequential to single fire right here. Just a little flick of a switch, and now we are in sequential. And I'm just going to go and do a line down the front of here. So Ryobi is telling us that this is 30% faster than the P361, which was the previous generation, which you might already be familiar with. So what that means is you're just going to get a faster reset, and every time you go to do a bump fire mode, it's just going to nail those faster. No delays. You're not so much of a delay. Now, other things, let's try this. I have a thinner material here as well. This material, plastic, it's a little bit thicker, about 1/8 of an inch thick. And similar thing, it's softer than the pegboard, which kind of replicates your underlayment. And let's just see what this does with this material. So definitely drives it too deep and too much power. So that's the other nice thing about the airstrike. We can adjust the power. So if we need to tone down the power, right now it's kind of set in the middle area. We don't need quite as much force. So I can go ahead and dial this back. I can also adjust the depth of drive here. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that and see if we get a little bit better drive. Still driving a little too deep. Let's adjust that a little bit further. There we go. And you can see, as I adjusted this, and we started out here and then adjusted the power, and then finally adjusted our depth of drive, that I can actually control very precisely what I'm driving through and how good it's fastening. The reason we don't want to do this is because that material will pull off easy. It'll pull out easy. But now if I come down the other way, it holds it a lot tighter. So the reason we want to really dial in that depth of drive is that we want to make sure that we get a good, secure hold on the material we're fastening together, but not go too deep that we cause it to be weakened. And so that's why we're going to want to dial in that depth of drive, which is nice because Airstrike allows us to do that based on the power adjustment on the back. Very simple. It's just plus to minus, and we can just move this to wherever we need it. For general purpose, from what I saw, in the middle is probably good enough for most things. Some other features about this nailer that I did notice now that I've been using it a little bit is, one, you got some tip protectors. Let me take the battery off for a sec. So I got some tip protectors here. It's going to protect your surface from getting marred by the metal tip here, and it comes with a spare tip protector as well. So should you lose this or it wears out, we have another one also here at the base of the tool. There is an indicator to let you know how many staples are left in your magazine. There is a little window up here that lets you see how many staples there are. I don't have any staples in there right now, so let me put some in there so I can show you. And right up in this little spot right here, if you glance in there at this kind of an angle, you can see how many staples are left. One disappointment is that they didn't make the magazine out of something translucent or clear. It is plastic, so that seems like it would have been possible, and it would have made it easier to, one, see how many staples you have left, but also what size they are. So the only way to know what size is in there is actually to pull them out and then put them back in again. Loading staples is very easy. Just simply grasp the bottom of the magazine, squeeze the button in, pull back, drop in your new stick of staples, and slide it forward. Another nice feature of this gun is that there is no need for a tool to remove jams. Simply when you open this up, the driving mechanism is right here. So by just simply opening the magazine, you're going to get access to everything you need to in order to clear a jam. So that's also another nice feature, very simple, less moving parts, less things to lose like wrenches and hex keys. Other features as far as the tool goes, it does have a nice rubber overmold over the whole thing. So when I set it down any number of ways, it always has something that's rubber in contact with your harder surfaces. You know, again, make sure you're protecting those work surfaces. As far as other features, they're claiming 1900 shots per charge. Not exactly sure what battery they're using for that, but still 1900 nails is a lot of crown staples, so that'll keep you busy for quite some time. So this Ryobi Airstrike stapler should be available at ryobi.com or at your favorite Home Depot when it is available. It's not out quite yet, so I'm not exactly sure the final pricing, but I would expect it to be between $200 and $250, as that is how the other nailers are priced. It will come with a 3-year warranty. So we're curious to know what you think about Ryobi Airstrike nailers. Do you like them? How do they compare to other nailers that you've maybe used? Leave us a comment below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, do that so you don't miss out on any of these videos. And as always, thanks for watching.